What's up, everybody? How's it going? Ryan Sanders, the Project Fresh here at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area live tonight. Same time, same place, same media. I've got my YouTube running. I've got my Instagram running. I'm on time. I have my water with me. My mic is up as far as I know. Is it plugged in? It is. All right, we're locking in on the habit today. So far, checking the boxes. All right, here comes the fun part. Our topic for this evening. We're going to be talking about, excuse me, mindfulness in regards to body image. And I did my best to, well, I would take that back. I'm not going to say that. I did not do my best. I think I owe you guys a little bit more context in the case of research. I want to make sure that I keep in some context as far as research goes, as far as what does the data show? What does the actual facts show? So for today in the description, I may have a couple of either articles, studies, or I'll just go ahead and write this really quick, articles and or studies related to my research on body image. Okay, I'll have that in the description for today so you guys can see what I referenced or what I'm kind of looking at here as far as what I covered today, so that you have that. That's specifically if you're watching on Instagram, you want to go over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/bigres, BIGRES 20, bigres 20, and that'll get you to our video archive. We don't only do we don't just only do live streams every night, Monday through Friday, but we also provide dynamic warm-up stress routines. We do specifics related to joint recovery. There's a lot of different things on there on the channel. And if we don't have something that you're looking for specifically, we're glad to place it on our channel for you as a resource, so that you do have something to address those challenge points, those goal areas, or whatever else it may be in the context of lifestyle. So we'll give you some parameters: fitness, nutrition, accountability, how relationship can play a factor into those things, how finances can play a factor into those things, how your recreation, your mental health can play into factor into those, your spiritual health, your becoming more one with self, loving self, those things, how that can play more of a factor into it. So I wanted to give you that detail. Okay, and you can reach us YouTube, Instagram. We're on Facebook, fb.com/elevate your fresh. Okay, so as far as today's context, the reason why I thought about sharing this today and tomorrow's topic is going to be on the context of the numbers on the scale. Let's just say those 2 to 3 numbers that are on the scale. And I say that very specifically because there are some adults who are in a 2 category number. That is their life. I have literally spoken to them on the phone. So I know there are adults who are operating under 100 pounds or trying to be. Now, obviously, that's based on body size and primarily gender. If you're a male and you're under 100, you're either younger or shorter, less body mass, or there's something substantially not right going on, most likely, just based on the body, how the body is built. But effectively, the 3-number category range where you could be, 3 numbers above your goal weight, meaning 100 plus pounds. So both sides of the spectrum, under 100 or above 100, to goal body weight, for example. Both could be possibilities in the wider spectrum. Body image. So got on the scale yesterday just to check to see where I was at. Sitting at 244, I think, 243, 244, which is probably the heaviest I've been in my life as far as weight. My workout yesterday was phenomenal. I had a workout, a leg workout, cardiovascular with weights. The premise was to move as quickly as possible with adding as much, not as much weight as possible, progressively adding weight through this particular workout. This was my fourth week doing it, and over the weeks I've added more to it to be able to do more. And I was feeling really good. I was feeling full of energy. Was able to push all the way through. Got a nice soreness today. Felt it in my workout today. And what's interesting was it felt like a contradiction. It's like, how could I weigh my heaviest ever and jump up and touch the ceiling a multiple number of times? Oh, Ryan, you're tall. You can do that. Okay, well, I could have knee problems, right? But my knees aren't aching. My body feels good other than the muscle soreness, which is normal when you push yourself. How could I operate at such a number? And it got me going on this kind of path and thought process, specifically mindfulness around body image, of course, scale. We'll talk about tomorrow. So just kind of a pretext to tonight and tomorrow, and we'll stay with our trend that we're on right now for Fridays for something more applicable or something you can use to apply and take right home. So we might do something related to this and what would be considered actual realistic numbers and give you some resources that you can look it up for yourself. Some practical resources that come right out of the book, so to speak. One that I use pretty regularly, just to give me an idea as far as a goal, a parameter for clients in the context of composition of the body. All right, so we got a little pretext here. So body image. There's so much that's wrapped up around it, and there was one particular piece in this article. I'm going to go back to the abstract here. I didn't want to just do um, like a some kind of what do I say? Just a study, because like studies, I think are good. Psychological studies are good. They do provide some good context, but I'd also like to do true published research as well. So this first one is from a research, body image and perceived health in adolescence. And the reason why I think this is important, and like I said, I'll make sure the link is in our description for today, so you guys can go look at this yourselves. I think this is important because this is where it all starts. How we're nurtured, not necessarily nature, but how we're nurtured, how we're brought up, how we're I don't want to use the word program necessarily, but our environment while we're growing up can greatly impact how we think about ourselves in the context of everything, how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to ourselves in context of others, how we relate with others. That all can be formed in our relationship with whoever's raising us, or parents, or whoever the legal guardian may be, or perhaps the lack thereof entirely. In certain cases, all apply. So the idea here, this is by Yvonne Milan. I'm probably going to mess up these names. Siren, Hogland, Hans Johan, Breed Blick, I believe. Hopefully I'm pronouncing their names correctly. You'll be able to see them in the link. Body image and perceived health in adolescence. Within the abstract, there was something that really stood out to me related to this. They were looking at perceived health as an important health predictor, and self-assessed health during adolescence was of their greatest interest. So, kind of more or less looking at, they were able to work through their analyses with presentations. Look through analysis and get to a point where they found that, and I'll just summarize here. This is not necessarily what I'm going to stick on entirely, but girls are more likely to report negative health than boys are, and the probability of such reports increase with age. Girls and older age groups report dieting and dissatisfaction with weight and appearance more often than boys, and younger age groups. Body dissatisfaction is associated with an increased risk of perceived negative health, also when controlling for the possible confounding effects of age and gender. The present ideals of weight and appearance might contribute to an unfavorable perception of health in this age group. I think that if we spend enough time on Instagram, I was kind of given my analogy of what I would consider social media to be like right now. Social media right now is a lot like LA or Miami Beach. Like, it used to be that before social media, to get that I don't know if I want to say that ideal, get into a environment where there was a lot of people who were very fleshly. You'd have to go to LA or Miami. Now all you have to do is sit down on your chair or couch, open up Instagram, and you can find it like that. You could be in the middle of North Dakota with one or two bars of service and get on Instagram and find yourself on a negative 10-degree Fahrenheit day and get LA or Miami right on your phone. And I think that last part too, the present ideals of weight and appearance might contribute to an unfavorable perception of health in this age group. I would go on to say in multiple age groups. And so when you look at the results of the data, they studied groups in the age groups of 11, 13, and 15. When you look at boys and they ask them what their perceived rating is, as far as very healthy, it decreases as they get older. Quite healthy, it increases a bit. And as far as not very healthy, it increases as they get older. On diet, it decreases as they get older, just a little bit. Needing to lose weight, it increases just a little bit. And no, the weight is just fine. It actually stays about the same within a couple percentage points. Changing body, yes, it increases as they get older. No, it decreases as they get older. And I'll leave it there. There are two other areas about thinking about body and thinking about looks. Well, let's see. We'll just do thinking about looks in the no good category or not good category. Slight increase from 14 to 18% of the test group, from 11 to 15. And good would be about 15 to 17% change in the full test group. So if we switch over to girls, again, the same categories, perceived health, very healthy, goes from 39 to 14% as they get older. The quite healthy would move from 56 to 70% as they get older. And then the not very healthy would move from 4% up to 16%, meaning at 11, they're not really thinking. 4% of the test data group is thinking not healthy. By the time they're 15, it has quadrupled to 16%. Not the majority of it. Quite healthy would be the majority of it. Very healthy would be the minority at 14%, but that was the data. Now going to looks, not good, from 21% to 36%, moving from 11 to 15, and then the good moving from 14% to 12, so a slight decrease. So I just want to give you that a little bit. Now back to the context, or content rather, or context book and this is where I want to wrap this up. Mindfulness of your body image is key. Now, you might get how you think about yourself from your parents, from friends, from family members, from the internet, from culture. It might depend on where you get it from, but the ultimate piece is that where your focus goes, your energy grows. So you might do fitness and nutrition, and you might do that on a very regular basis, but you might be upending yourself. You might be, sabotaging yourself if your body image and your mindset around it is poor. And that might be associated with some hurt, some pain, some trauma. Those things may not have been addressed. And so you recreate that hurt and that pain. Since, well, let me say it this way. You may be recreating it because it hasn't been addressed. So those events that created the emotions, you might be indirectly looking for more events and situations to continue to feel those emotions, those feelings, so that you can recreate the experience around it, which is another topic for another day. But ultimately, what I want to get to is that wherever it may come from, whatever the reason may be, that if it's happening, that's not necessarily what I'm looking at. What I'm thinking is more as an encouragement to you guys today to be very effective or be very mindful around body image. The three things that I talk about a lot as far as the body and the parameters and what we set as far as goals. Yes, we may set an overall weight goal, but the three things that I tell my clients that matter most is how the body feels, how the body looks, and how the body performs. Now, when I mean how the body looks, I'm not talking necessarily about, is it from a fleshly perspective, a vanity perspective, are my pectorals or my butt or my biceps or whatever a size that would help me feel a certain kind of way? Because if you need your body to look a certain way, there's probably something for you to live a life that's going to be fulfilling, acceptable, whatever it may be. You may have something much deeper than just having big biceps, buns, or a trimmed waistline that's currently working uh, at a deeper level. Okay, not all the time, but the chances are high that there may be something deeper. And the reason why I say that is because when I talk about the looks of the body, I'm more thinking specifically, is uh, my body image of self in a healthy space. When I look at myself, can I score high on a rating of, do I love myself? And there may be certain things that are required physically. There may be some things that are truly um, going to impair that higher rating process, which I think are legitimate. But there may be some things that may not be. Now, how does that tie into the other two? Well, how your body performs can be very simple as far as the comfort level in which you get around. Are you cultivating or treating your body well in a way that you can get around without having any issues? How your body feels would play into that quite heavily. Are you experiencing situations that leave you feeling without energy, that aren't addressing maybe the stress, et cetera, et cetera? And then I also want to put back into the category of, look, getting back to how culture does it. The reason why I picked the image that I did today for the thumbnail is because that actually is what I envision, that if I gave you the baseline of what a man's body should look like, which not every man's body looks like that, that would be something close to what I think without doing the work, without going through the results, without um, having my mindfulness journey around body image. That's what I would think the standard would be. Super hard body, super bulky, super cut. Did that guy use steroids or not? I don't know. Um, I can take a look, give you a quick analysis, and tell you, yay, nay, maybe. But at the end of the day, whether that's the case or not, that is something that I had to take a look at and say, okay, why is this the case? Especially when I'm on a scale weighing the heaviest I've ever weighed in my life, but absolutely obliterating a workout and feeling good about it. Can you imagine how those two things, just for whatever reason, do not they do not marry up very well, right? How could you start having thoughts and feelings of, dang, you're really fat, or dang, you have a lot of extra fat? And I've been making that note to my wife. I have been telling her, yeah, I'm observing that it looks like I'm putting on fat. If my scale is right, I've put on anywhere between 3 and 7% body fat since May. But there's got to be some muscle in there, because of what I know. It can't all be fat, because if it was, I would be much bigger than I am around my midsection now, because that's exactly where it goes. So we need to get out of the thinking process that we may be programmed in and into a process of, okay, here's what I know. Here's my mindfulness around the situation. And what other knowledge do I need to make a good decision about myself? Because if I allow my emotions and feelings to run the show, you could further lock in those poor thoughts, that poor body image, further reaffirm, solidify that which was working against you, and leave you in a place and space where months go by, possibly even years, where you continue to stay in that body, which is most likely, if you're in a space and place where you're considering this conversation to begin with, not where you want to be. So there's implications that apply to that. Longer you carry weight, et cetera, a lot of different potential health impacts. So I wanted to, I think I might have bitten off a little bit more than I wanted to chew today, not necessarily in the case of context or content, but time, because I'm actually quickly approaching 20 minutes now. But like I said, I'll post this article. I may post one more. This particular research was fitting because it was on the side of when we're getting older. This other one, your body image is impacted by those around you. I'll just quickly say this. There was one done in January last year, 2019, at the University of Waterloo. And their summary was spending time with people who are not preoccupied with their bodies can improve your own eating habits and body image. So I may put this in there. It is of a psychological nature, so more of a study done amongst, looks like 17 to 25 undergrad aged uh, uh, undergrad students, excuse me, all female. So I know that's typically usually the topic or the test subject for these kinds of things, typically females, but I think this definitely applies to males too. I do feel for women in this category because of the pressure around it, because of the standard that's created as far as cultural body image, what a woman's body should look like. There's a lot to unpack here. I didn't necessarily want to go that way, but I will make that note. And I think I'll go ahead and put this in here. It's a very short study, but I think it gets to um, a good a good point in body image. It shows up, excuse me, in a study in the Body Image and International Journal of Research. So I think in that case, dealing with dissatisfaction, self-esteem, relationships, activities that we pursue, those kinds of things, I think is attached to it. So I'll add that to today's description. Ultimately, my encouragement to close this out is this. I encourage you to be very mindful, one, about the origin of how you think about your body and your self-image. Two, not only where you got it from, but what are you telling yourself and which way in that focus is it feeding? Is it feeding a positive or a productive or a conducive lifestyle that would support you in your goals, in your relationships, and all the areas that are most important to you? Or is it working against you? Is it putting you in a direction? Is it creating situations in your lifestyle where now you're not living what you want to live? So, okay, origin, and then the actual content, and then who are you talking to about it? Who are you sharing that with? Who are you working with to get to the bottom of that, to start to work that out so that you can start to get yourself, you could be working good, but you could firm it up. You could check for blind spots, not a bad thing. Or if you're over here, how do you start to shift over this way, so that you can start to firm it up? Now, there's a lot more that I could talk about the context of kind of a deeper soul, spiritual health in that context. In the context of faith, we could talk about it from a perspective of um, very simply, what do I want to say? Just support, and then even more so mindfulness and like what's going on between the ears here. So there's a lot of different avenues, but again, I'm already at the end of my time here, and I wanted to break that open tomorrow. We'll talk about the number on the scale, how that is absolutely the worst thing you could use to track your health because it means literally nothing almost. There's no context to it other than the fact that it is a number, but there is application. But I think it surpasses the number on the scale. We'll talk about that Thursday. And then Friday, we're actually going to give you some models. I'm going to show you what pounds and BMI look like. Excuse me, pounds and BMI look like. And it'll be a Zoom interactive, so you guys will see my screen. I'm going to give you a couple examples of what like my BMI is, what some notable figures BMIs are, preferably most likely men, to dispel it, and then really get into the nitty gritty of where things really play out as far as body image, the number on the scale, and the things that seem to be the standard in our culture. But actually, when it really comes down to it, if you want to have an effective approach and really have some lasting change, body image in the context of cultural and the number on the scale are going to probably do the very least for you of the things you'd want to focus on. All right, guys. So like I said, take a look at the description. I'll have the two links in there for you that I looked into myself, and I'll make sure I have some more for you tomorrow. Hope you have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow, 6:45 Pacific Standard Time. Hope you guys have a great day. Ryan Sanders from Project Fresh checking out. See you later.